years later, my mother told me why she gave me 2 last names, so I could choose who I wanted to be, as if my identity could be swapped with the simple drop of an O'Hanlon or a Rodriguez. Who brought us? My Taino and Druid ancestors whispered to me from my back pockets, infusing me with a language that is greater than my knowing and less than your standards. Between me and the other world lies a veil. The uncoded characters of my name aren't attuned to your computer systems, so my last name was dissected and manipulated so much that I forgot who I was, and therefore who I was meant to be. 2 souls, 2 thoughts, 2 unreconciled strivings, but when death sits staring, we all recognize that the parks and palaces of the Cotton Kingdom have not wholly disappeared. My generation is rationing their food. On Wall Street, they laugh, poor lads, slaves at 22 years old, and every television glows with a revolution that is centuries old and yet is still on the tips of our tongues. Do you know what it's like to be a refugee in your own home? On your own street? We can't breathe. I need a new language, skimmed from the surface of this melting pot that is still waiting to acknowledge karma, but my questions double over into doubts as they continue to argue the meaning of my name, standing in lines, awaiting a verdict that grants me the permission to be who I've always been, although my taxes get rejected. Staring into eyes that taste of stale cereal, reminding me of the first time I heard the word spick, and my mother looked at me with certain sadness that I was different than others. A constantly occurring realization that sends me spinning under yellow streetlights to follow the etchings on my palms in an attempt to retrace steps I've never taken. Navigating this trail of tears, sirens shriek in the night for freedom. I stand at intersections with my palms outstretched, talking to strangers about the black boy up in Albany, down in Charlottesville, down in Frederick, down in Philadelphia. They said that the police shot and killed him for talking too loudly on the street. I inhale my mother's deja vu, certain that this is the same conversation she had when she was my age, so I leave them standing at the road looking after me, and yet apparently not noticing me at the same time. Perhaps it's because my own histories have been bought and sold, or that maybe your currency no longer barters my being, or maybe it's going to take years to translate this mixtape female narrative that refuses your man-you scripts. No matter, we need new stories. Ones that are told with an understanding that we're understanding the red lines in our backyards and the prisons in our schools and the sideways glances that remind us that this country has not yet found peace from its sins. We need new tales. Ones that are within and without, of curiously mingled hope and pain. One that gives life to statistic breakers once destined to drown. And in these thoughts of unity, whether through forced fraud or slavery or corporate indentured servitude, we will stand, clenching our names, our lives, our rights. It's the percussion of a new revolution, and when this beat drops, our heads will nod in unison. Thank you.